Alright guys, welcome to class. We are in Minorities in Lit, and we are looking at Activity 4. So this is before it's been broken up into the in-class days and online days, and so this is just all of Activity 4 at once. So once we meet in class, certain things will be adjusted and put into the online folders based on if we do not finish them. But as of this glory moment, this is the plan, and it has due dates to match up with the plan. So the goal is an Activity 4 to discuss the dangers of seeing people as minorities. So this was originally titled Day 5 and 6. So we are in Unit 1, Activity 4. So here's Unit 1, Activity 4. The first thing that we're going to do is in class, we're planning to discuss our responses here. So that was due Friday, I believe, a couple weeks ago. Then we'll move into timed writing that this particular class didn't get to. So if you've already covered these in class, don't worry about these two. Then we move on to journaling. How do you define Americanness? This journal asks for you to write from your stream of consciousness what the idea of American means, and you can answer questions. You can write an anecdote from an experience in your life. You can describe what an American looks like and acts like as perceived by other Americans, or how Americans are perceived by people from other countries. Your job is to write from your perspective, so you're welcome to use I. You can also write language you're comfortable with, but be polite, no cuss words, no texting. As this is a journal, it's not a timed writing or formal paper. This can be less, formal than usual. So this is a journal. How do you define Americanness? We've talked so much about what it is to be a minority, what it is to be an American looking at the government. So what is Americanness? When you look at a person and you say, that person looks American, or vice versa, if you look at a person and say, I don't think they're American, what's different? Feel free to talk about food, activities, images, famous people, that kind of thing. What is American? So that Americanness assignment is due Monday, September 7th. The next assignment is timed writing. This is about our essential question, and this is a 10-minute timed writing. So this will be longer. It will be a full and edited paragraph. The essential question is, what are the dangers of viewing someone as a minority? Your job is to answer by creating a submission and to think about what are the dangers, and think about the video that we watched. As always, before you write, brainstorm, and there are some questions. Who has power? Who makes changes? Who decides who's in the minority anyway? What judgment is made when someone labels another as a minority? Do I know you personally? If I call you a minority, does that give me an excuse not to know you because I've already labeled you? Think about if you think about the video, and she talked about the boy who worked at her houseboy, and how she viewed him as just a poor houseboy, and then found out his brother was hardworking. That changed her view. So what was the danger of her one view? Or she talks about how she went to Mexico thinking that immigrants were dangerous, that they were unsafe. She believed that propaganda that the media was spewing that was so anti-immigrant. And then she saw these Mexican people that were so happy and friendly and kind, and she realized, oh my gosh, I have viewed them as only one story. So think about it. What is the danger? As always, if you get stuck, start thinking about examples. Clarify a point. Talk about who's been called a minority and how has that hurt them. You can think about blacks. You can think about Hispanic people. You can think about specific nations being mislabeled, like Mexicans have been mislabeled. And you can even think of unkind terms given to those people because they've been viewed as one thing. So think those through. And the more you connect with this, the easier it will be to write. So that's our timed writing, the essential question. That one is due Tuesday, September 8th. here's our due date here. And if the due dates change, you'll know because they change up here. So just keep an eye on where the due dates change. This handout will go, you look through and read all the examples, and then there's 16 questions. I generally suggest copying and pasting this into a Google Doc so that you have your own copy of the handout. It's like being passed a paper in class, right? So you can actually just fill in the answers. The directions do tell you you can just number 1 through 16 and just write the answers. That way you don't have to worry about accidentally messing up this formatting, which will naturally happen. The idea here is that the subject and the verb need to match. So the subject is the who or what doing something in a sentence, and the verb is the thing that they are doing in a sentence. So super short example is Betty run or runs to the store. One of those verbs makes sense. Betty is the subject. She needs a verb on how she gets to the store. She either run or runs. And then just think through the sentence. Betty run to the store. That sounds weird. Betty runs to the store. That is correct. So your answer should say runs. So if you're doing 1 through 16, number 1, you would write just like that. 1 runs. On the other hand, if you're doing it through like this, number 1, 2 strings on my electric guitar is or are out of tune. Which one's right? You are welcome to like highlight the correct answer instead of erasing it and leaving the word are. Just so long as I can see what you have viewed as correct. Highlight is way easier for me than bold. So if you would please highlight your answers if you have copy and pasted like this. Otherwise, if you have labeled 1 through 16, just write the one word that is the correct answer. So that's the first section. A looks like that. B, it tells you that in the box provided below that you need to write the, see if I can fix that. To write the correct form of the verb needed to complete each sentence. So, in this case, which is correct, within each one of us lies the desire to explore frontiers. Again, you can highlight that. You don't have to put it here. C, last one, you can highlight as well. Identify the item in parentheses that agrees with the subject of each sentence. Same idea. So there's 16 chances for you to practice subject and verb agreement. Once you have finished that and you have all your answers in, I suggest copying it all with a 2-finger click. Click on it, hit copy, and then going into the submission box, which I don't have, click submit, and then click create, the create tab, and then paste your answers right there, and then submit. You're also, if you care about formatting, or you just are like me, you can get rid of the part that doesn't matter to you for the answers and just turn in the answers if that is something that you're interested in doing. So you could shorten it so it just looks like this, so that you turn in just the answers. Or you can turn in the worksheet, or you can number it 1 through 16. Lots of options for you. So when you are done, click submit, click create, paste your answer. That's your handout. Currently due Monday, September 7th. Thursday, September 10th, we have an assignment that's actually due Thursday and Friday. So this is called a Silent Socratic Seminar, and this is the first time we're doing one of these, so I'll explain it a lot in class, but for those of you who have not done one of these and aren't in class the day I explain it, the idea is that you participate much like we do when we are replying to a post from a student, except for instead you are going to actually be asking an open-ended question instead of replying with your thoughts. You are creating a question based on their thoughts. So this is the information that you need to know about a Socratic seminar. Socrates was a philosopher, and he was someone who really valued questioning, and so that was the method by which he thought people learned, was that we need to ask questions. So that's why it's a Socratic seminar. Here's an example here. You've got the post. The post is worth 20 points, and your 2 questions are worth 20 points. So 10 points each for the open-ended question. So this carefully responds to the question. The question you're answering are, what are the dangers of viewing someone as a minority? And using the video, Chimamanda Adichie, and I'm sure I butchered that name, when she, from Nigeria, explains the danger of one story, she explains kind of the same concepts of viewing someone as a minority. So this example responds to that, and then how it creates stereotypes and labels and the feeling of less than. Then, based on this post, I have come up with 3 open-ended questions to help you. Now, open-ended questions, and you'll see this in the example here, are questions that can't be answered with a simple yes or no. They're questions that make people think, and they would have to really think through the question and come up with an answer with examples, that kind of thing. So here are 3 open-ended questions that take into account the person's perspective who's writing them as well. So the first question says, this is concerning about the lost stories that should be told from the perspectives of a minority. How can we go about finding their stories? So this is very specific to the post. It starts with an opinion but ends with a question. How can I be a minority member who gains power so I can tell my people's story? So again, referring to the stories that are lost and how, if you're a minority member, can you continue sharing your people's story? And then Q, the last one, what needs to happen for the people in power to hear stories of the minorities and to add them to the history books? So again, going right to this question, specific to this question, is an open-ended, going back to this post, this is an open-ended question. So these are 3 great examples. Each of these would get the person who wrote them 10 points. So your job is to respond to the post on Thursday with a well thought out 3 to 5 sentences answering the question, what are the dangers of viewing someone as a minority? That's your Thursday assignment. Your Friday assignment then is to go back and read what other people have written and respond with your 2 questions. That way on Thursday, everybody spends time answering the question. Everybody's answers are in on Thursday. Friday, you can come back and you can read what other people have written and write your questions. So this one assignment will be graded on Thursday and on Friday. So your post is a Thursday assignment. Your questions are a Friday assignment. If you have questions on that, email me, especially if you're confused about how this is written, because if it needs to be rewritten for your class, it might need to be rewritten for other classes. So I value that feedback. All right, and so that's all for activity 4. We've covered everything. Oh, cool. Just in time. All right, well, thanks for tuning in, and good luck.